As a fourth-generation entrepreneur and business owner, I know the grit and grind that it takes to run a business. With ChingonSA, we're capturing stories from other local business owners and community leaders to highlight them for you, our querido community of San Anto. From the culture, for the culture. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of ChingonSA. I'm Luis. I'm the host of the show. And if this is your first time here, welcome. And if you're, if you've been watching the show over the last season or two, welcome back. We're glad to have you. Super excited about today's guest, a friend of mine for a little while now, Janice Lerma. Janice is a master property manager. I didn't even know that was a thing. All right. Master property manager, broker, and owner of Rental Property Pros, a full-service property management company she founded in 2006. With over 20 years of industry experience, Janice oversees what is, for many clients, their largest investment. And she approaches that responsibility with care, integrity, and professionalism. I love that. As a landlord herself, she brings a collaborative, practical approach to every relationship. And beyond business, Janice is a mom. Her proudest title to Austin, Jason, and Sydney, who motivate her personally and professionally. Janice, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I know we know each other through BNI. Got to know you. I guess you've been a part of the group now.
Maybe 7 months.
Okay,
I'm still fairly new.
Yeah. Was that your kind of like your first intro into like a networking group of some kind?
100%.
Yeah.
My first ever being a part of a network like that, and I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious what brought you to the group. Like, how did you end up at BNI? How did you
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is fun and interesting because I got connected with the BNI group through my chiropractor.
Okay.
And he talked to me a little bit about business and told me about BNI and invited me to come as a guest. And at that point, I had recently moved. I was looking for other ways for involvement, and I came to a meeting and I fell in love with it. I visited a few chapters and then came back to the first chapter that I visited and
Which is my chapter, by the way.
Yes. And that was home for me. I'm like, these are my people. Yeah. This is where I belong. And I'm so glad that I did it because networking wasn't something, we get lessons sometimes at later seasons in our life.
For sure.
And the networking component and the community, I realized that I really was seeking that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really happy with BNI. I've made so many wonderful connections.
This was, we didn't intend this to be a BNI cheerleading session, but I'm a believer myself. So when I've been a part of BNI since 25, early, I guess like January, February of 2025. Okay. And I resisted it at first. I was like, absolutely not. I don't want to do this. I had heard a lot of bad things about it. The culture, it was a little bit culty. And we were very clear with, sort of the core group that kind of started the chapter that there were just certain things that we weren't going to do that made it feel stuffy and it made it feel, kind of just not our vibe. Right. And I think I said no 3 times, maybe 4, before I finally agreed to become a member. And yeah, I mean, you're right. It's one of the best decisions that I've made for my business, for, just the ability, for people who maybe are afraid, business owners, especially, executives, managers, whatever, who are, kind of leery or, worried about public speaking.
Yes.
I think BNI is so challenging.
Yes.
In that every week you've got to stand up and you've got to give an elevator pitch for 45 seconds. And then you get pushed, to do a feature presentation, which is much longer than your normal pitch. So anyway, this was I did not intend this to be a cheerleading session for BNI, but
I'm glad we talked about it.
Yeah. I have been always curious about how people hear about it and like what was their first impression, first experience, that kind of thing. So thanks for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
So you started Rental Property Pros in 2006. Why?
it was a complete leap of faith is what happened. And I think I have, I worked in the industry for so long, I was already starting to receive referral business from even agents outside of the brokerage. And it just seemed natural for me to do something on my own. My visions and my work ethic and were not aligned with the company that I was working with.
Super
and so
important.
It was really important. When you carry a license in whatever profession, you're held to a standard. And that's kind of what separates us from the herd, so to speak. And that was so important. I had my reputation. That's all I had. That's what I knew I had. And it's what I knew I had to protect. And so it was a complete leap of faith. I had been in the business long enough, so I had this can-do attitude, and I never looked back. I never looked back.
How'd you end up in real estate or in property management?
Oh, well, so I was working for a commercial real estate company, and I had worked my way up the ranks and was on different projects, and I was doing a lot of project management, and these commercial real estate brokers were making a lot of money. And it made me think about real estate on the other side of that, the residential side. And so I decided I'm going to go to real estate school. Let's see where this goes. And then I got recruited while I was in class, and I got offered a job. And that company is no longer here, but it was a pioneer back in the day with marketing and TV. And so
specifically for like property management?
For
real estate
in general, because back then, I sound old, but when I started, there was a book. Like, they were looking at listings in a book. We had computers, but it was not as, tech savvy and where we are today. Right. So, that's...
in that regard, I'm sort of envious of other industries, because in the insurance space, we are so antiquated in how we do things sometimes. It is so frustrating for me, as I'm very much, I love technology. I love implementing new processes and procedures, and, building things out and finding ways to utilize technology to enhance the relationship that I have, even with my customers. But I mean, some of my carrier partners, oh my gosh, we literally still have to fill out, paper applications. I mean, now we do it digitally, right? But we literally have to fill out paper applications instead of doing a web form or an app or something like that. We literally have to fill out a PDF form and send it in to the carrier for them to review it manually and get back to us with a rate. It's so. But
we're done with paper.
Yeah, and that's what I love about other industries, and I'm envious sometimes about other industries that have been intentional about taking technology and using it, implementing it in their businesses in such a way that makes everybody's lives easier.
Yes. Some of us were pushed into that position. Like when COVID happened and we needed to work remotely, we had already started sharing, right? But that really helped us because there was no other choice.
Yeah.
So paper was out the window.
Yeah. No, that's true. I definitely see that. So when you were at the brokerage, and thinking, kind of like next steps for you, and thinking about what you wanted to do, what made you, instead of kind of climbing up the corporate ladder, right? What was it for you that, was the catalyst to kind of say, yeah, I'm ready to go out on my own. Let's do this.
Well, that's a great question. I mean, I think I was dissatisfied where I was, and I knew that there was a better way to treat people.
Yeah.
And a better way to do business. And that was my mindset. If I go out on my own, I'm a little fish in the pond, I can make a difference. That was the mindset. I can make a difference and I can treat people the way that I would want to be treated.
Yeah.
And so that has been true to my core, customer service. And it's because I thought I could.
Yeah.
It's because I thought I could. And I just, blood, sweat, and tears. There's no day off.
For sure.
You're working 7 days a week.
Yeah.
And I had a strong work ethic anyway. Why would I not do that for myself?
Yeah.
So
as you started kind of like building your team, what did you find that was like most challenging from people management perspective, right? Because having a team and managing different personalities
it's a
really
science.
tough. Yeah.
We're still trying to master that, I think. Well, for me, what I've had some takeaways, and being really intentional about seeking talent has been important. What I've come to realize is I can't teach customer service. I've, as a coach, as a mentor, as a leader, I tried. You try to align, make sure that your team's vision is consistent with what you're putting out. And that I couldn't teach customer service. So the personality part of it has been extremely challenging. I now have totally changed the way that I hire people. So it's with intent. It's seeking the talent, looking for exactly the skill set that the job requires, and putting a personality test in there and benchmarking and finding out people's strengths and weaknesses so that I know what I have to work with and whether the person is coachable or not. Yeah. And that has made a huge difference. It's been a game changer.
Yeah, that's certainly, I could not agree more with that. I've been doing this I've been an agency owner now for 15, going on 16 years. And when I came to the same realization that personality tests is huge, and it's not even so much that it gives me an insight into what type of person the individual, the candidate is. It's more of like, how am I going to make the most impact on this individual, right? Through their coaching. How can I coach them? How do they best learn? Exactly the things that you were saying. And I mean, I appreciate it when other business owners take that very seriously also.
I didn't take it serious at first. That's what we learn. Hindsight's 20/20. We learn the hard way so many times.
Yep.
It's so many different lessons, but that personality, as leaders, we have to know the strength and weaknesses so that we can pivot and coach to a style that matches their personality. Yeah. So,
are you originally from San Antonio? I know I'm like all over the
I'm
place.
born and raised in San Antonio.
Yeah, what high school?
I went to Luther Burbank High School. I am a Bulldog, orange and white forever.
All right. I think you're the first Southsider we've had on the show.
I'm so proud of the South Side. I love the South Side. Yeah. I don't live there anymore, but I'm pretty close.
Someone once told me that nothing good happens south of the boots, and I disagree with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah. There's so many wonderful people on the South Side. It has a bad rap, but it's not true. Those rumors are not true.
Yeah. Well, I'm from the West Side, so we've got beef, or at least we used to back in the day.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Those were fun times. Did you go to college?
I did not go to college. Yeah. And that's part of my story, because I dropped out of college. I had my first son when I was 20 years old. And to all those moms that work full-time jobs and go to school full-time, that didn't align with the kind of mother that I wanted to be and the way that I wanted to show up for my children.
For sure.
Or my child at the time. And so what that did for me, having him so young, is it just turned a fire on where I'm going to work.
Yeah.
I have something to prove. I have that. And I'm, as a mother, I take my job really serious because those are my first students. Those are the people that look to me as an example. Mm-hmm. And so I just had a certain vision in the way that I wanted to raise my children with certain ethics and morals and values. Yeah. And I have really awesome kids who meet all that criteria, so mom can back off.
There you go. How old are your kids now?
So I've got a 31-year-old. He is a police officer up in Dallas.
No kidding.
He's a Marine. Hoorah. And I've got a 21-year-old. He's completed 2 years of college and he had a little delay with health. But we're so proud of him. And then my girl, God certainly knew what he was doing when he gave me a girl last. And she's 18. She's a senior in high school. She applied and got accepted to Texas State, and she's very excited to fly the coop. Yeah.
What's their mascot? Bobcats.
Bobcat.
Yeah, Bobcats. What is it? I don't know how to do that thing. I'm curious, kind of bringing it forward to like current day, right? What would you say as a business owner is one challenge that you're navigating? And then how are you navigating that, right? Like what are some of the things that you're doing to continue learning and to become a better leader and that kind of thing? Like, I'd love to hear just kind of your perspective on what current day challenge your business is facing. You don't have to get specific, right? But I'd love to hear just kind of like in general what kind of challenge your business is facing and how you're handling it.
Well, that's a good question. We have a few challenges, and probably one of our biggest challenges in not just with the company, but with our industry is we're vetting people. We're in most cases, we're managing people's largest investment, and we're looking and recruiting applications and potential tenants. And in that process, we're doing background checks, rental history, and, income verifications. Well, our industry is really interesting right now when it comes to rental history. People that are looking for rentals don't necessarily have A+ credit. Granted, we have a lot of them that do. If they had A+ credit, they'd be buying. Mm-hmm. And so we take a holistic approach when we're vetting these folks. And what I'm seeing is management companies are reluctant to fill out rental history. That is an extremely important part of our vetting process because it essentially tells me what kind of tenant they were. Did they pay their rent on time? Did they care for the property? Did they leave owing money? Did they do? So that is a challenge that we're facing right now. And I feel like as a company, technology, keeping up with technology that is evolving and changing every day. And I'm not a person that really accepted that early on when I started the company. I mean, I think it was like 5 years before I even got a website.
Wow.
In my mind, I was like, I got to handle this business to the best of my ability. Sure. I'm not trying to scale and then not do a good job for my clients. So that's been challenging, trying to incorporate the technology and the trends to try to be as efficient and competitive as possible. So for sure, it's the whole marketing.
What's interesting, I think, for like when I look at, property managers, you essentially have two customers, right? Mm-hmm. For every transaction, you've got two customers. You've got the property owner, and then you've got the tenant. Mm-hmm. And somehow you've got to find a way to balance the relationship between the two, where I don't think a lot of other industries have that. And I mean, like, specifically per transaction, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you've got to find a way to make everybody happy. How do you, like, what are some of the challenges that you have faced? And again, you don't have to get specific, but like, I'd love to hear just kind of like some of those challenges.
You hit the nail on the head. It's a balancing act. You've got a tenant that wants to spend money for repairs, and then you can have a landlord that doesn't want to spend the money. Or it could be another situation where the landlord doesn't have a problem handling repairs, but then maybe we have a problematic tenant, and it is a balancing act. And the way that I look at property management, and maybe somebody can challenge me on this, it is already the stepchild of real estate. Yeah. And then you put a landlord tenant into that equation. The tenant is the bottom of the barrel. That is why I work really hard to make sure that the way that we communicate with tenants is collaborative. We can't problem solve if two parties aren't of reasonable mind willing to come together. Right. So, I think I said this in our BNI, you light them, we fight them. Yeah. Because we're putting out fires all the time. Yeah. So we'll have challenges with that. But once we put our our property manager hat on to make sure that we've set the expectations, it's imperative that you do it on the front end.
Sure.
You set the expectation for a tenant and for a landlord and for yourself as a company. You're not excluded from that. It's like this is how it all works.
Yeah.
So some of those challenges are, sometimes landlords don't necessarily have the funds to get the repairs done. You could have a tenant with a type A personality that wants to turn in any little crack that they see in the house. And so it just comes down to communication. The number one complaint in our field is lack of communication. And it usually, they never answer the phone,
right,
or they can't answer my question because it's this department, that department. That's something that we really pride ourselves in. People are not a number with us. But that's our job as a management company, is to put these two parties together.
Sure.
So it's
in your name, right? Like property manager. You are managing all kinds of different things.
You're managing contractors, you're managing projects, work orders, accounting.
Yeah.
It's a whole scope of responsibilities with people's largest investment.
Yeah.
So,
and it's understandable. I mean, for some people it is an investment, that's, might just be passive and they don't want to, put that much effort into it, which is understandable. But at the same time, I think there's property owners out there that do care, and they want for everybody to have a good experience. You as a property manager, the tenant, but they also don't want the headache.
right.
That's why they're engaging you to deal with that. And so it's a matter of like being smart. How do you what's your process for vetting? Because obviously you have a process for vetting tenants, right? But do you have also have a process for vetting property owners that you're taking on as a client?
We do. We have to be aligned with the mindset. The way that the property managers look, and for us, for example, look at that investment is it's a business. We're going to run it for you as efficiently as possible. So the vetting with the landlords are a little bit different. If I come into a property and there's repairs that are obvious that have been neglected, then I'm going to ask some really important questions with that landlord. I want to make sure that they're aligned and they're not going to challenge when we have to do repairs. The goal is that you've got this investment and this business, and the goal is to improve it, always improve it, while the property has to match the price point. We can't ask for $2,000 rent and the house looks like you're lucky if you get 1,000.
Right.
So we have some really important questions that we ask our landlords to make sure that we're aligned and that we have the authority to speak with them with transparency and honesty about what we're seeing and what's needed. So we encourage. It's a relationship, and that's the standard that we set. We tell everyone we're getting into a relationship. Nobody wants to get into a bad one.
Yeah.
So communication is essential. There's no question off the table.
This is my third podcast recording today, and in each of the two prior conversations that I've had, relationship and communication have been paramount in those conversations, and
it's important.
Yeah, it definitely is. I think, and you're absolutely right. When you're getting into business with someone, even as a property manager, a landlord, or a tenant landlord relationship, it's still a relationship.
Sure is.
And communication at really at every level needs to be handled with a certain amount of care. And there's got to be thought behind it as well. And so, I think one of the important things, and just in business in general, is being willing and able to communicate. I have a hard time with that. I'm not going to lie. I've struggled with that, for as long as I've been a business owner. But I think one of the key takeaways for me whenever I'm, learning from past relationships or even current relationships and how people challenge me is, to really take a step back and not take things personally. And I have a hard time with that, but I'm working through it. But just realizing that at the end of the day, I think everybody I mean, at least I do. I want the people that I'm in relationship with to be successful, right?
Yes.
Referral partners, vendors, whatever.
All the strategic
Customers,
partners.
yeah. All the strategic partners that we have is that I want them to be successful. And and if I'm getting into a relationship with someone, I assume automatically that they want the same for me.
Mm-hmm.
And when you come to the relationship or the communication with that sort of mentality, I think that sets the tone for how the relationship is gonna go.
100%. I just heard something recently. What you're feeling on the inside comes out when you're communicating with people.
Yeah.
And you have to genuinely care and love what you do. Because if you don't, you're not fooling anyone.
Yeah.
What's coming out is you really don't care. And that's the last message we're trying to convey to anyone.
Sometimes the way that emote my passion, I get loud.
Oh.
Right. But it's not that I'm angry. It's just that I really do care about this topic that we're talking about. And I cannot express my position, I don't know how to do it other than to get loud. I mean, I've been that way my whole life.
Uh-huh. Because they're not hearing you. So it's like,
but it's not that I want to yell down at you either, right? It's that I'm trying to get my point across, and I'm just I care so much about it.
Yeah, it's passion.
Yeah,
it's passion. I mean, that I can agree with. In property management, we have to have a thick skin.
Yeah.
I mean, I have early on in my career been called really bad names and undeserving, unprovoked. And I had to take a step back and realize that it wasn't about me. It wasn't personal. I just had to and sometimes people just need you to listen. And listening is a skill, and not everybody can do it.
Yeah.
You can't talk and listen at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like you were saying earlier, customer service is not something that can be taught. And a part of customer service is listening.
It's listening. One of the things that I tell my team, and it's super fundamental, how would you want to be treated if you were on the other side of that equation? It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
If you look at life that way, in any difficult situation, because there's a lot of difficult conversations that we have to have. We can't, trust me, I want to bury my head in the sand and pretend they're not going to happen. But, bad news quick is the best approach. You're not letting it fester in your head all day and let it ruin your day. So, just fundamental rule. Treat people how you want to be treated.
Yeah, for sure. No, I definitely hear that. I'm curious, kind of as you think back over your career, what has been one kind of like reoccurring lesson that has come up for you that you wish that you would have learned way earlier in your career?
Oh, man. So many.
Yeah.
So many lessons. Probably my biggest lesson for last year was the way that I look at time.
Okay.
Time.
Yeah.
And realizing that time is not promised and that I have so many minutes in my day. What am I choosing to do with those minutes?
Yeah.
And when I ask myself that question, I'm way more intentional about what I'm trying to get done, because it's easy to get a little lost, or, you're not operating with the calendar, and just, you can't be productive with your time. So that probably has been my greatest lesson, 2025, in the way that I look at time. But I've had so many, early on in my career and difficult situations and dealing with difficult tenants or landlords, I remember hearing them, disagreeing with them, making it a point to try to tell them why I disagreed with them. And sometimes it's not that deep.
Right.
You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
You just listen, just take it in. But also what the most important thing is accountability. I've always been a person, if I mess up, own it, talk about it.
For sure.
We're not sweeping anything under the rug. I'm a human being.
Yeah.
So when things like that happen, in the accountability piece has been huge.
Yeah.
And it's important.
Yeah. That's great. I'm curious now, what kind of impact do you want, like, when you think about legacy, right? Like, we talk about legacy on our show quite a bit, and I'd love to kind of just get like your perspective on what legacy means for you. What is that? What is that? What does that mean for like the impact that you want to have on your community? Um, what do you want your legacy to look like?
I my legacy is tied to this company, and I want to be known for raising the bar and raising the standard when it comes to property management. We have a bad rap. If you ask anybody, renting a house, the first thing you're going to hear is a horror story. And I want to change that narrative. That's what I want my legacy to be. I don't want to be the biggest fish in the pond,
Sure.
Right? I just want to make sure that we're the best at everything that we do, and that the people who walk away from us feel like they were heard and valued and appreciated, and that maybe at the end of the day we could agree to disagree on certain things, because anything you look at, I suppose, is subjective, right?
Sure.
And we can look at it from two different ways. And that's what I want my legacy to be. I want us to have made a difference in the property management community and setting the bar where it needs to be with customer service. And it's like customer service, it's thrown around so loose and like, it's customer service, but like, are you really mastering customer service?
Yeah.
Are you really practicing it?
Well, going back to master, what is a master property manager? What does that mean?
A lot of education.
Okay.
I have spent a lot of education. I am a broker. I'm an independent brokerage, and it's classes. We're part of an organization called NARPM. It's a National Association of Residential Property Managers.
Okay.
This is a great organization. There's a lot of companies like myself. We network through this organization, and it's a way that we separate ourselves from the realtor manager, because the mindset is, well, how hard can property management be?
Right.
I could do it.
Right.
Until you can't.
Right.
Until you get in trouble. So it's part of that organization, and it's a continuous education.
Yeah.
You have to put in an application, and it's a really great designation. And there's a couple of other ones there too.
Nice. Very cool. Yeah. There's a few designations that or a couple of designations that I want to go after. I'm making it a goal of mine to finalize, because I did start a designation, and COVID hit, and then I used that as an excuse not to move forward with it. But yeah, definitely I want to get a couple of designations under my belt in my industry too. So that's cool. I'm glad you're doing that. But it shows that you're passionate about what you're doing. It shows that you care about you care about your legacy and how you want to impact your clients and all that kind of stuff. So kudos to you. That's awesome.
Thank you. I realize that with all like leadership training and all the training that I've been a part of, I always want to continue to learn and evolve. I've heard so many, and in the real estate world, it's like, that's the way we've always done it, or that old school mentality.
Yeah.
I just don't buy in with that. It's no.
A good friend of mine in the insurance space, his name's Jason Cass. I'll give him a shout out. He has a podcast, and I know he always asks his guests. He always says, "Leaders are readers, and readers are leaders." So is there a book right now that you're reading on leadership?
I'm about to start one. It's Brene Brown, but the last book I read was Mel Robbins.
Yeah.
Let Them theory.
Yeah.
That was huge for me. There was a couple of key takeaways with that, and it was huge. Like, you realize you can't control the actions and behaviors of other people.
Yeah.
So let them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I just finished the book, The Six Working Geniuses by Patrick Lencioni. He authored he's authored several books that I've really liked. One that's called The Ideal Team Player. And there's another book that I can't remember off the top of my head that I really like from him. But I just finished his book called The 6 Working Geniuses, and it's a great read. It's short, it's not super long. What I really like about his style of writing, I think, is that he integrates fiction with his books. So he's telling a story while you're learning a lesson. And I really like that, as opposed to like hearing like just somebody ramble on about, their story or something like that. But yeah, Patrick Lencioni, if you ever get a chance.
Yes, I'll check it out.
Yeah, he's a good dude. I'll send you the link later.
Luis, one of the other things that you said is my lessons that I learned early on is a property manager, and as a company, I'm only as good as my team. They're my rock stars.
Yeah.
They're essentially an extension of me in different departments, right? So there's no I in team. Yeah,
for sure. I could not agree with you, or I could not agree with you more, is what I was trying to say. Janice, this has been a fun conversation. Thanks so much for coming on. As we're kind of wrapping up, one last question I have for you is, if you were sitting in front of your 25-year-old self right now, what advice would you have for that individual?
I had a lot of head trash early on. My conversation to my younger self would be, don't give up. Keep going. Because a lot of my mistakes and failures, I just wanted to crumble and fall. And it took me a lot longer to realize, like, those are my greatest lessons in life.
Yeah.
The failures, the mistakes, all the things. And I would tell myself, get back up faster. You're not looking in the rear view.
Yeah.
You're looking straight ahead. Nice. And you can do it.
Yeah. Well, good. That's great advice. I really appreciate that. And I think something we can all take away from as well, right? As entrepreneurs, as managers, is just everyday folks. Just don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't dwell in it.
Right.
Certainly, there's appropriate time for the grief that probably comes with some of the loss that you experience, but don't dwell in that. You got to get back up. You got to get back up.
Holding on to that interferes with inner peace. So the sooner, that's why I would tell myself faster, because I want peace. I don't want to hang on to something that's taken that peace away. So
one thing I learned a couple years ago, there was a podcast that I was listening to, and a guest said something that really just struck me and has stayed with me ever since. You can't protect yourself from the pain, but you can. What is it? You can't protect yourself from pain, but you can. Basically, the saying is that, like, you have to go through pain in order to get to the other side, which is joy, right?
Ooh.
And it's kind of along the same lines of what you're talking about. You've got to get back up. You've got to go through it, whatever it is that. Don't sulk.
Right.
Don't sulk. Get up and go through it. Try to go around it all you want, but
there's no way. You can't avoid it. Just.
But what's waiting for you on the other side is joy, peace.
Yes.
And
and so many valuable lessons that you'll take away, that you'll hold on to for the rest of your life.
Yeah, for sure.
Those lessons.
Yeah. This has been fun. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. This is great.
Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Guys, thank you so much for joining us on another episode of ChingonSA. We're going to be back next week with another guest, so I hope you will join us. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, the like button, follow us on all the socials. This has been an LIS Studios and Serafina Digital Productions. We'll see you guys next week. This has been an LIS Studio and Serafina Digital production. Be sure to like and subscribe to the show on your favorite platform. And tell a friend about the show by sharing this episode on your Facebook and TikTok. If you're a business owner, entrepreneur, or someone doing really cool things in San Antonio and want to get your story on our show, email us at luis@lealinsurance.com.